Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Movie Social. We're your hosts, Ricky and Steph.
What up, what up, what up?
Today's episode, we're going to be doing a spoiler review of the new Netflix film.
The devil all the time.
It stars Tom Holland, aka Spider-Man, and it also has quite a actually good cast. Even Robert Pattinson in it. But the whole premise of this movie, I still don't know. No, I'm just kidding.
Cults?
No. But it's basically a whole lot of people don't believe in so-called in God and all that, but then doing stuff that goes against what God says. And then they wind up getting killed in the process of doing all this. Because if you look at it, the only person that did not get killed is the only one who did not believe in any of the stuff that God said. Mm-hmm. Which is crazy, which is Tom Holland. Honestly, though, for me, this movie brought out a whole different side of film, showed his maturity, him growing up as an actor. Everybody's normally just used to seeing him playing the Spider-Man, playing the web-slinging hero there. But for once, he actually showed more of a darker, more of a grittier side to him, which is good news for Uncharted, because we'll at least get to see a different side of him on that. But all in all, the movie as a whole was wild. Over 2 hours long. So yeah, be prepared for that. And I don't know.
So my thoughts were, at first it threw me off for a loop. I wasn't sure what was going on at first, but then it slowly started to connect the dots together. This movie definitely does indeed go full circle with everything that happens. It starts off with parents of the kids, and then the parents of both sets of kids dying, essentially, some being killed or whatever, and then you have it coming full circle with them basically being raised in the same house. Then you got people commit suicide in here. It's crazy. And let's, before we even
that whole part was wild.
Let's talk about the mass murders, the serial killers.
Woo!
Going around and basically putting on the front like the girl wanted to have sex with him.
And he wanted to film.
it. But them actually cutting off extremities of these men while she's basically laying naked with the men that are being cut up and killed while his man is taking pictures.
Yeah. But that whole thing is disturbing.
Very
First
true.
of all, him as a grown man, he's got some serious mental issues doing that.
Agreed.
And then the thing I didn't get with her is one minute she wants to be a part of all that, then she doesn't, then she does, then she doesn't. And then on top of all that, her brother
As a sheriff.
is the sheriff
Yep.
in that whole township area. And doing all this, even though he's dirty himself, but yeah, that was wild. And they actually showed photos of them being cut off. I was like, yeah. You'd have to shoot me multiple times before doing that. Cause I think one of the guys, they actually cut it while he was still alive. Which is...
So they actually only show you one, you get a general idea, but they show you one of the process of the guy taking the pictures and stuff. And they showed that he didn't have a penis at that point. It was gone.
Just screaming and hollering. The guy just sitting on his chest taking the photos. I'm like, really?
Yeah. That is some mass murder, psycho, serial killer stuff, man. But they met somebody that wasn't stupid.
And Tom Holland. I mean, he already been around the block a bit, which we about to get into that part, where Robert Pattinson finally comes into play as the new priest for this town, where Tom Holland's, I guess they were like brothers and sisters. The sister would go to visit her mom's grave every day after school.
Yeah, I think they said it was a stepsister.
I mean,
but they really wasn't.
They weren't related because
they were related.
They weren't related, but adopted stepsister because Tom Holland's actual grandmother adopted her because that's the person who she wanted her son to really marry. And it didn't happen out, but yeah. So she starts being around Robert Pattinson, who's the priest, And the first day that she's with him, he drives her somewhere, and then says, "Do you ever get naked in front of the Lord?" I'm like,
Yeah, it was some real creep pastor trying
"Is
to
this
provoke
a Catholic
someone
church?"
who was. It was sad because she was very naive.
Mm-hmm.
She, she really was like a Christian. She was naive though, and she went on basically every word he was saying because she felt as though his message, he had a direct connection with the Lord, and what he's saying is obviously God's work.
Yeah, and then she also thought he loved her and all that. Because he would have sex with her every time, got her pregnant, and then the bombshell came out. Yeah, you better figure out something to do with it because it's not mine. You're going to be left with the baby by yourself. I'm like, damn. And so she killed herself. Hung herself and killed herself. And then...
At first, she did kill herself. But I felt like it was one of those moments where she was like, okay, I'm going to do this. Then realized, you know what? Life is better. I can make it through this.
Yeah, but it was too late.
Then it was too late because when she was going to try to remove the noose from her neck,
yeah, she lost off with it.
She fell off the bucket and it was wrecked. And the only thing I don't understand, and again I would never understand this, is when people do indeed commit suicide, they give themselves, like if they decide at that moment that they want to live, they give themselves a small surface area, meaning like the bucket is probably like this big, whereas your feet is bigger. So like if you like, oh crap, let me I don't want to do this, that surface area, one slip.
But you never know what's going through their minds.
Yeah.
I can't speak on that part.
Neither can I, but yeah, it was crazy.
And then you see Tom Holland figures out after the sheriff says that
she was pregnant
with the baby, and they kind of suspected the priest as well, but they didn't really have evidence for that. But Tom Holland started following him around and followed him with another girl doing the same exact stuff to her. But when he confronted him, was hilarious. Went in the church pretending to confess about what he was doing with his wife. They got kind of graphical too about oral sex.
Yeah, but then he described what he was doing.
And then Robert Pattinson turns around and then bam, starts shooting him, which is wild because the first shot hit his hand, and that's excruciating pain. Then he shot him like 3 or 4 more times, and then goes to collect the bullets. I'm like, there's still going to be bullets inside his body.
Yeah.
But oh well. But before we go any further, we got to talk about Robert Pattinson's acting level on this, because he switched up his vocals greatly for this. He picked up the southern accent very well.
Agreed.
I
don't like the way his character was a very like a villainous character.
It really
like
was.
The whole chicken liver thing. Obviously he was eating them. He was making it seem like it was a poor person's food.
Mm-hmm.
Where all along he wanted them for himself because it was that good.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible person.
This whole show is wild though. I'm not gonna lie. But it is what it is.
But yeah, let's talk about how Tom Holland goes back to where he was, where he grew up at, and he is, basically closing the chapter on his part of his life. And then the sheriff finds him, tries to kill him,
because he finds out that Tom Holland's the one that killed his sister and her husband.
Yeah,
because she was married too.
Yeah,
that made it even worse.
But the reason why he killed them is because they were trying to take him in the woods and kill him.
And they were serial killers. Mind you, the sheriff caught on to that when he seen the photos.
And then burned the photos, basically trying to make it seem like, this was just a senseless killing. But he was up to it was in self-defense.
So, running for re-election. But he caught it in the end. Tom Holland made it out, which was actually an ingenious thing. And he also was lucky at the same time because had he not rolled slightly, he'd have been shot too.
Agreed. But all in all, man, like from the whole aspect of the movie, it was a really solid movie. It took a little bit while for it to pick up, but other than that, it was a solid movie.
Definitely was. I recommend you guys to watch it. it's not that much out right now anyway. So take this time to watch this movie. Give yourself the 2 hours, sit through it. It's entertaining enough. And let us know what you guys thought about it in the comments below. Did you like the progression of Tom Holland? Do you like Robert Pattinson's vocal changes in this movie? Or did you not like it? Do you hate the movie? Do you think it's blasphemy? Whatever. Let us know in the comments below. And until next time.